to our show.
Thank you for having me.
And Jana came all the way up here in the Pepper and Friends Learjet from Orlando, Florida. Right? Some people are going to believe that too. But anyway, you did come up from Orlando, Florida to visit with friends, and you have written a book. It's called A Touch of Hope, A Caregiver's Survival Guide. You wrote this book for a very special reason, because you were a caregiver for how many years?
I've been a caregiver on and off for almost 8 years.
Yeah. Dealing with your husband's?
My husband has had 3 different diagnoses of lymphoma, and 4 rounds of chemotherapy and a bone marrow transplant, and 6 months after his transplant I was diagnosed with breast cancer.
So, you've had the whole gamut. You're doing okay? And your husband is in remission?
Yes.
So both of you are doing fine. So you know firsthand what you're talking about. And as a caregiver, I was a caregiver with my mother, and I know when you and I were talking before the show today, at times you feel like your back is just up against a wall. But you're doing this because you love. You're doing it out of love for the person that you're caring for. But that doesn't make it, that doesn't make all the pain go away either.
No, no.
What is it that you want to get across to people today who may be in a situation that you have been in?
What I'd like for caregivers to know is that their health is at risk if they don't take care of themselves. And as a caregiver, I know that I didn't take care of myself and took care of my loved one more than I took care of myself, and I also felt guilty about that. So part of why I wrote this book was to help people see that taking care of yourself doesn't take a whole lot of effort, and a lot of it is just simply a shift in focus. That if you can, for example, at night, many caregivers fall into bed at night because they're exhausted, and if they can simply shift the focus from falling into bed at night because they're exhausted to, I'm going to sleep tonight as an attempt to rejuvenate myself and increase my energy level, that in and of itself will help them get better rest.
Sure. Sometimes as a caregiver, though, you're not able to sleep through the entire night because you have to get up and you're called in the middle of the night because the person that you're caring for is needing assistance. And you've got broken bits of sleep. But it's important to realize that you're not alone in this either.
Yes. Yes. You know, there's 50 million caregivers out there estimated, and those 50 million caregivers are 63% more likely to die than non-caregivers simply from the stress of caregiving. And every single time that a caregiver can shift that focus to help turn off the stress response in their body, it will increase their chances of living longer, not having diseases later on in life, and that they'll just feel better through the process of caregiving.
I'm just reading some of the headlines that you sent us here. The impact of caregiver stress is becoming a national health care epidemic. There's an estimated 50 million caregivers in the United States alone. When you got yourself into a situation that you realize, I'm doing this because I love my husband and I want to care for him, was there ever a time when you felt you didn't know how you were going to be able to continue and go on and face another day?
Yes. I had many days like that, and I was...
How did you come to terms with that?
I was fortunate to have some friends who were able to simply listen to me vent what I needed to vent.
Exactly.
Some of that involved screaming, some of it involved crying, and some of it just involved long periods of talking. But they were able to just hear that and not need to fix me or take care of me, but just to hear it and then encourage me to go rest.
I know exactly what you're talking about, because you would get so frustrated at times and you don't know why you're frustrated. You feel frustrated and don't know what to do. And sometimes if you just yell,
yes,
it makes you feel better.
Yes.
But you don't want to yell at the person that you're giving the care to.
No, you know, that creates more work for you, because then you have to go back and make apologies and amends and you know, take care of them.
What's the most important information that you've got in this little book?
Most important information I've got in that little book, I think, is that it's written in a format that a caregiver in 5 to 30 seconds can get something out of there that they can take with them during the course of the day to take care of themselves.
Okay. If somebody comes up to you, let's say you're walking out of here and somebody comes up to you and said, I saw you on Pepper and Friends today, and I'm taking care of somebody that I love, but I just don't know if I can go on. What are you going to say to them? Find someone who you can talk to about it.
Find someone who you can talk to about it. Find someone who you can talk to about it. Find someone who you can talk to about it. Find someone who you can talk to about it. Find someone who you can talk to about it. Find someone who you can talk to about it. Find someone who you can talk to about it. Find someone who you can talk to about it. Find someone who you can talk to about it. Find someone who you can talk to about it. Find someone who you can talk to about it. Find someone who you can talk to about it. Find someone who you can talk to about it. Find someone who you can talk to about it. Find someone who you can talk to about it. Find someone who you can talk to about it. Find someone who you can talk to about it. Find someone who you can talk to about it. Find someone who you can talk to about it. Find someone who you can talk to about it. Find someone who you can talk to about it. Find someone who you can talk to about it. Find some
because that does help.
It does. Just knowing that you're not alone in the process, knowing
Yeah.
that there's some other caregiver who's experienced the same feelings that you have.
And the other thing, when somebody offers to help you, if a friend or a neighbor comes and says, let me give you a hand, and why don't you take a break for a little bit? Many times we say, oh, no, we don't want to impose. Go ahead and impose.
Yes.
Because they wouldn't be asking you this if they didn't want to really help you. It's all right to impose from time to time. If somebody offers a helping hand, take it.
Yes. Your support system needs to know that they can help too.
Exactly.
And it helps them not feel powerless to help you out in any way that they can help you out.
How can they get the book?
They can buy it at the 9th Street Bookstore here in Columbia.
Okay.
Or they can purchase it off my website at www.caregiverssurvivalsite.com.
Okay, it's A Touch of Hope, a Caregiver's Survival Guide. It's available at 9th Street Bookstore, or again, it's www.caregiversurvivalsite.com. Jenna, thank you so much for coming by.
Thanks so much for having
And I
me.
admire you. My goodness, you've been through it all. The caregiver and being a person receiving care also.
And my
Pleasure.
husband's had the opportunity to, play both sides too.
Yeah, best of luck to you.
Great, thank you.
Okay, be careful going back to Orlando. We'll
Thank
have the
you.
limo pick you up here and take you out to the airport.
Great, thanks.
Okay, we'll take a break. We'll be right back. Stay with us.